We all know that to establish adverse possession, the squatter's intention to possess is necessary. But what about paper owner's intention? Must the act of squatter be inconsistent with the intentions of the paper owner? Earlier courts said yes, treating it as an additional requirement to better protect the interests of the land.
The story begins in Lee and Jack, 1879, where Lord Justice Bramwell stated the following sentence.
In order to defeat a title by dispossessing the former owner, acts must be done which are inconsistent with his enjoyment of the soil of the purposes for which he intended to use it.
This rule has been cited as good law by subsequent courts. In Wallace's Holiday, after applying this rule, Lord Denning went further to hold that unless the squatter's use was inconsistent with the owner's purposes, the squatter's possession of the land was to be treated as being under an implied license from the true owner.
The problematic decision by Lord Denning aroused great criticism. First, what is the true nature of those licenses? They're not based on the finding of facts, but imputed by court simply because the paper owner acquiesces in the occupation by the squatters. Secondly, it will be difficult to ascertain the paper owner's intention because in most cases, the owner basically didn't do anything. Thirdly, is the inconsistency requirement the true ratio of Lee and Jack, where Lord Justice Bramwell stood alone and other judges seemed to not share his view?
Thus, UK Parliament intervened with the Limitation Act 1980, putting an end to the heretical implied doctrine. Some suggested that even if the act abolished the implied license doctrine, the traditional inconsistency requirement survived.
This view was rejected by recent UK decisions such as J.A. Pye, where it was held that the intention of the paper owner is generally irrelevant. The most it can support is that as a finding of fact, the squatter has no intention to dispossess. What is the Hong Kong position? In 1985, shortly after the enactment of UK Acts, Justice Hunter's decision in Man Kam Tong achieved a similar effect in the absence of local equivalent legislation. The judge, though bound by previous authorities, was unhappy with Lord Denning's doctrine. He decided that on the facts of the case, the inconsistency rule should not apply because no evidence suggested that the paper owner had any particular purpose to use the land. Therefore, viewing this local judgment with Law Reform Commission's proposal and recent UK decisions, we can expect Hong Kong to be consistent with UK's position that the intention of the paper owner is generally irrelevant.
Exactly, so therefore your comment is irrelevant.